Good evening, I'm Dagan McDowell.
And I'm Sean Duffy. Welcome to The Bottom Line.
A not-so-wise man once said, losers who are losers are never graceful, and truer words have never been spoken.
Though intended as a dig towards Trump, Biden is the only one taking L after L in the polls. Super Tuesday is tomorrow, but voters seem to have already made up their minds. According to brand new Fox News polls, if the election were held today, half the country is going for Trump over Biden.
Maybe that's because Gianno can't deliver on anything of importance. While he and 4% of America focus on climate change, the rest of the country is concerned about, well, the economy and immigration, illegal immigration.
And to voters, he's failing on both fronts. 62% give a thumbs down on the economy, and 66% say the same about the border.
Oh, it gets worse. Only 1/4 of voters say Biden's policies are helping their families. Nearly half say he is hurting them.
And it looks like Biden's policies cut deeper than Trump's mean tweets. 45% say Trump's policies actually help them.
And old Joe isn't just getting destroyed in Fox polls. Quote, no matter their race, age, or gender, more voters in a New York Times poll say Trump's policies help them over Biden's.
But everything is fine. People are thriving, especially the middle class. That's what we're expected to hear Thursday at the State of the Union. But when asked whether the average Joe had the ability to get ahead this year, 65% of voters told the Wall Street Journal, nada, nope, not happening.
And that's the problem. This Joe's policies aren't made for your average Joe or Jane. Let's bring in Fox News political analyst Gianno Caldwell, along with the host of Tomi Lahren is Fearless on Outkick. Tomi Lahren, great to see both of you. Tomi,
great to be with you.
We have watched President Trump for so many years. It's always been about the policy over personality, and that has stuck with the American people. In all of these polls that you saw this, women in that New York Times poll by 21 points, 21 points, are more likely to say Trump's policies help them than Biden's. 22 points for Latino voters. It's unbelievable.
I think people, as we are getting closer, are starting to compare presidencies and not just presidents. There's a lot of folks out there that maybe I disagree with that don't like Donald Trump because they don't like his character, they don't like his bravado, they don't like the way he acts on social media or the things that he says at rallies. But the people are looking at the presidencies of Donald Trump and by comparison Joe Biden, and they're saying, you know what? I liked my life better 4 years ago. Maybe I didn't like Donald Trump, maybe I didn't like his fake tan or his hairdo, but I liked my life better. And they also can't get around the fact that Joe Biden is a well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. As much as they try to talk about how vigorous he is behind closed doors and how great his policies are for those who can't see or buy things, I think the American people are saying, hey, listen, this is not mathing, and I don't want to do this for another 4 years.
You know, Gianno, in politics, November's election, it is a lifetime away. There's a lot of things that can change between now and then. And the State of the Union is coming up this Thursday, and Joe Biden has the opportunity to actually come out with some new policies, some new ideas. He could actually change course in the State of the Union. It doesn't appear that we're going to get that, however. We're going to get more of the same, but he's going to repackage it and try to sell Americans that it's going really well for them. Things are great, and no one actually believes it. Do you think that strategy is going to work on Thursday night?
No, it won't work. And I do think it's too late to change course. I think the sentiments of the public, when you look at the polling suggesting that almost 80% of people, Americans, believe that the country is on the wrong track, immigration being the #1 issue for places like Chicago and Illinois. I mean, these are places that you would never have ever considered to be places where Trump could possibly pick up and could possibly become purple states. At this particular point, the only hope that Joe Biden really had is something potentially happening with these court cases, because it's looking really dire, not just in terms of trying to get the independents, which is where you really win elections in the presidential, but also for his party. His party's rejecting him. They see him as old and senile. They see him as an individual who cannot get the job done, and they just want a bit of sanity. The prices are stuck where they are. You got people who are losing income because of the price hikes. There's been a lot of things that this administration has done, which has led to the decline of many Americans' lives, and they want to see change, and they should be seeing change. And Donald Trump is the only person that can deliver that change at this point.
Well, that's one thing that's hurt Joe Biden is this is intentional suffering and hardship that he's inflicted on the American people. Let's stay on the topic of retirement's knocking on the door, but old Joe Biden ain't answering. Biden's 2020 supporters are leaving in droves. More than 60% of Americans who voted for him last election say he is too old to run this country. And even the queen of self-righteousness herself admits he's getting long in the tooth.
Joe Biden's old. I said, you know what? Joe Biden is old. Let's go ahead and accept the reality. Joe Biden is old. So we have a contest between one candidate who's old, but who's done an effective job and doesn't threaten our democracy. And we have another candidate who is old, barely makes sense when he talks, is dangerous, and threatens our democracy.
And while we're left wondering when our doddering commander in good grief will hang up his gloves for good, he's trying his best to convince America that everything's just fine. Watch.
By the way, I've been doing this a long time. I know I don't look that old, I know. I'm a little under 103. I know I don't look like it, but I've been around a while.
And this isn't a gotcha show, but I do want to ask about it, that says you are currently 81 years old.
Who the hell told you that?
Yeah.
That's classified.
Tommy, you look at those clips, that one where he made the joke about being 103 was from last June. You can see the decrepitness creep in just from last June till now. That's how bad it is.
Quite frankly, I think it's a little insulting that he's joking about it. I know that that might be a better strategy to just admit that you're old. In fact, Bill Maher told Joe Biden he should lean into his age just the other night on his show. But I do think it's a little insulting when you have somebody whose special counsel said that they're, basically too elderly and such a poor memory that they can't be held liable for their classified documents. And then that person is turning around on late night television and joking about it. But that's why I have maintained for the last year and a half, Joe Biden is not going to be the Democrat nominee. They're not going to risk that. There's not enough mail-in ballots in the world that's going to make this guy appealing. I think right now this is smoke and mirrors. And I do believe come convention time, they're going to sub Joe out for Gavin Newsom, which is why Gavin is running a shadow campaign as we speak. I'm still going to maintain that's my theory.
I'll be a hot cup of coffee on that, Tommy. I'm not sure that's going to happen. I think he's the guy, but we're gonna see. But Gianno, I want to move to this because when you think you're out, old Joe Biden, he pulls you back in. Bill Clinton's reportedly taken a more active role in the 2024 election by shutting down any thought of a third-party bid from both Governor Larry Hogan from Maryland and Virginia Senator Joe Manchin. So how did he do it? Well, he told them that their bids would only help the mean, bad orange man, Donald Trump. And I wonder, Gianno, when you look at this, I think it's important to metal sharpens metal. If Joe Biden had some competition in this race, he actually could get better, or Americans would see how frail he is. When you kick these guys out, I think Americans are left, especially on the Democrat side, without a real choice.
I mean, Democrats are left without a real choice right now as we speak. We got an empty suit in the White House. And to your point, in terms of iron sharpening iron, I can agree when Ron DeSantis was in the race battling against Trump and many of the other Republican candidates. That's exactly what we had. We had a president, Donald Trump, who's become an even better communicator to the American people. And it doesn't seem like it's personal. He's saying, hey, the best revenge for me is success, accomplishments. Those are things that people want to hear. At this particular point, I don't know that the Democratic National Committee would try to sub him out. They would if he literally couldn't do anything and he was in a much worse off position the public was aware of. But I don't think Joe Biden has any interest in leaving or exiting the presidential contest. He needs the presidential power to continue to keep his family safe, if you know what I mean. Like all of these indictments with Hunter Biden. He needs to be able to wave the magic wand and get him out of federal trouble. And I know a lot of his other family members are involved in some other things that are quite questionable. So I don't think that he would be kicking and screaming to leave this race.
Tomi, real quick, what's Bill Clinton up to and Hillary? Because it's always about self. Real quick.
Yeah, I think when it comes to Hillary Clinton, she lost to Donald Trump. So I think them shielding and coddling Joe Biden, I don't think this is about helping him. I think they see the polls, and I think that she, quite frankly, is jealous, and she wants to see Joe Biden lose to Donald Trump. So maybe that's why she's trying to keep him in the race. She wants to see him lose. I wouldn't put it past old Hillary.
You were reading my mind, Tomi Lahren. Thank you. Gianno, Caldwell, great to see both of you.